Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Friday Morning Live, January 29th, 2021. Hope everybody's doing great today and looking forward to a nice weekend. But we're excited. There's yours truly on the screen, Dave Newell. I want to welcome everybody to a great show today. Another partner that has been developed through IMS, and we're excited to have Coterie on and walk us through their platform and some of the things that'll be available to FAI members through this new partnership with IMS. So, again, excited to have that group on. I'll introduce them in a minute. But I want to remind everybody, just recently, and you'll see it in the Agents Confidential that I'm sure is now going out, about Political Engagement Month and some of the things that are going in and around FAIA. If you read Kyle Ulrich's blog about the Citizens Board, a governor's meeting earlier this week, you'll see a theme that's been put out there by some about how citizens would conduct themselves with a direct-to-consumer portal. So this gives you all an opportunity to engage in this process. So we encourage you to get online today if you've not done so yet. Go to our advocacy page and click on the register link to get involved in the Political Engagement Month. It is a month-long endeavor starting Monday, February 1st. And we're excited to have a panel with BG, Kyle, Laura, and probably some special guests to kind of lay the groundwork of the legislative session that starts in March. So, again, we encourage you to get online, register today, and then attend the events that you can attend throughout the month. You don't have to do each one of them, but certainly there'll be several that you can take advantage of. And when your schedule allows, certainly we encourage you to engage in this political process. As most of you know, we've written about it for the last month. We are not going to be able to hold a in-person Capitol Days here in Tallahassee. So this is our effort to continue to help agents get engaged in this political process. So again, get online, register, and look forward to seeing you on this Political Engagement Month and several events ongoing. So just a reminder, from an education standpoint, web-based learning, we continue to offer a lot of virtual classes, updating these weekly. So this is some of the stuff that's coming up next week for you to take advantage of and get professional training from FAIA. So still running the academy for those that would like to convert their license from a 440 to a 220. So take a look at that. And then shortly we'll run the 2044 Academy that will help you convert your 440 to a personalized 2044 license. And then upcoming shows. You certainly don't want to miss this one. On February 19th, we'll have Carl Rockman on from Citizens. And I suspect between now and the 19th, there's going to be a lot of dialogue about some of the stuff that's coming out in and around Citizens and keeping their policy count down and some of the changes that may be seen through the political process. And then March 5th, have Kyle on. He'll be 6 months into the helm at FAI. So have Kyle on just to bring us up to date on his mid-year review and what he's seeing from the landscape in the driver's seat. And then April 2nd, we'll have our friends from Oceanus Partners, Frank and Susan, on to talk about some of the things that we're developing, new content with them to offer FAI members. So we're excited about that stuff. We want to thank everybody again today, but our show is about Coterie Insurance, the newest market available through Independent Market Solutions. I noticed Jeff Grady is on the line. Good morning, Jeff. Jeff continues, even though he's retired from FAI, continues to lead the charge on developing these products and services. And certainly we encourage you, if you have questions or you want to have a conversation, reach out to Jeff. He'd be more than happy to go through that with you. So again, welcome everybody and the Coterie folks. And so now I'm going to turn the show over to Ray. Ray, let me find you. I'm going to elevate you. Bear with me. Where'd you go? There you are. All right. I'm going to make you a presenter. All right, Ray, the floor is yours. I wanted you to go ahead and pull up your slide deck. And so we have three folks on from this new partner. And certainly Ray's going to drive the ship, but he's going to introduce his colleagues and certainly have a very good, robust discussion. As we do with any Friday Morning Live, we encourage questions. We'll get to those, as many as we can, throughout the broadcast. And if not, we'll certainly get offline and get Ray and his team to answer those questions. So without further ado, Ray, take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dave. So we're going to start just by kind of introducing the team. And first and foremost, I want to make sure that you guys get the chance to hear from Greg Roth, our VP of Agency and Broker Distribution. So Greg, take it away.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm really happy to be here with you. We're really excited about the partnership with FAIA and Independent Market Solutions. I want to thank Dave and Agatha and Jeff Grady for all your help and getting us to this point in the relationship and on this Friday Morning Live show. You're going to be really excited after today to work with us here at Coterie, we think. And we are your InsurTech digital solution for small commercial business. My background, I just want to give you a little background on myself. I too am a certified insurance counselor designation holder, like many of you, I'm sure. I'm very active in state associations of independent agents around the country. I've held the CIC for 22 years. I was a producer in small commercial, just like many of you. I was the #1 producer in the Midwest for the Hartford small commercial. I went on to work at the Hartford, actually, managing small commercial sales for the Midwest region. And from there, I went on to working with CNA and handling small commercial sales and product development across the country. So I've been in your shoes. I know how it is to handle small commercial. It's all about speed, ease of doing business, and so you can handle the business profitably. And that's really what we're here to talk about today. So I'm really excited to work with all of you, and I'll turn it back over to Ray.
All right, thanks, Greg. Next up is Pete, who's our VP of Underwriting and Risk.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Pete Bucola. I'm pleased to be with you today and excited to join you in launching Coterie for FAIA. We're very happy to be rolling out a product that will allow you, as Greg alluded to, not only service your clients quickly, but it allows you to really focus on relationships, and also at the same time gives our small commercial market in your territories, the smallest of the small customers, access to admitted paper, to some property capacity, to GL and PL and other lines coming very soon. It gives them access at a price point that works for them, and allows you to have a profitable book of business in a way that you're having to constantly touch. So I'm the VP of Underwriting and Risk. I oversee all of the risk selection, risk bearing aspects of what we do, and glad to be with you.
Thanks, Pete. I'll quickly introduce myself. I'm Ray Lynch. I'm the Director of Digital Agency Distribution. So really, I'm the guy that works with Greg to make sure that we can integrate, whether it's into agent platforms that they're using to kind of streamline their processes, or leveraging direct integrations with those that might want to. So prior to joining Coterie, I was at Liberty Mutual doing a similar role for the last 3+ years. So really, the goal of this webinar today is to just kind of give you an overview of our products, help you understand what kind of makes us different than maybe some of these other InsurTech people that have come to market and kind of, promising the world. And I think obviously just from these introductions, you can see that we've really amassed a very strong and experienced insurance team to go along with our tremendous technology team that is building these products and building these capabilities that you'll see here in this presentation. So obviously the first question we always get is why Coterie? And really what it comes down to, and I think both Greg and Pete alluded to this in their introductions, is that, we're really building a product from the ground up for small businesses. So instead of taking what would traditionally be a upper end to small middle market product, depending on the carrier or how they define the market, we've taken the approach of let's build for the really small, the home-based, the sole proprietor type businesses, and we'll build simpler coverage, better pricing, allow us to complete 100% digital underwriting, which means that you get a bindable decision in a very smooth and fast way. There won't be any kind of back and forth. We reduce the amount of information you need to collect because there's a lot of great third-party data providers that have come to market in the past couple of years that allow us to get a lot of the underwriting information that traditionally you would have to fill out through a supplemental or a lengthy property application. We're able to leverage that data instantaneously with some of these partners. So really, we're trying to help you serve your customers better digitally. So a high-level overview of our products that we have in market today. You'll see there at the top, we have general liability, business owners, and professional liability. We are working on a workers' comp product as well as a cyber endorsement for our BOP, and we're hopeful that those will be coming here towards the end of the quarter, the beginning of the second quarter. One thing, our team works very quickly. We try to roll out increased and enhanced features on a weekly basis. So even what you see today in this presentation will be enhanced in just a few weeks and bring even more capabilities to you. First and foremost, we are admitted paper. We are rating on both either an A excellent or an A- paper. So we have solid financial backing of our carriers. We do have and have filed all of our products. So we're not taking a traditional carrier product and just kind of distributing it. We design the product coverages, the pricing, rating information ourselves. We maintain our own filings. We just leverage these fronting carriers to kind of provide us the necessary capacity to get this product out. As I mentioned in the previous slide, we do have 100% upfront digital underwriting. I'll show you what that kind of looks like in our portal. But basically, we have like an instant qualification checker that will allow you to know if that risk is within our appetite and within the segment that we're looking to write, whether that's a zip code or claims history, et cetera. And then I think what everyone is always most worried about or is at the top of the mind is the commission rates. So we're providing competitive commission rates to any agent that is working with IMS by providing both 15 on new and renewal for our BOP, GL, and PL product. And when we launch work comp, we'll be paying 12 and 12. So definitely market rates, admitted paper for this small business. I'm going to highlight a few of our general guidelines. So these kind of apply across our products. So right now, and these, as I've mentioned, will evolve with time and kind of as we continue to grow. But currently, we're doing a single location, single name insured on a policy with annual revenues up to $10 million and 50 employees. For the contracting classes, which are more of your artisan trades, such as your plumbers, electricians, et cetera, we have a $5 million revenue limit and a 15 employee count. We're not accepting any risk that has more than 2 losses or claims or a single loss that's greater than 15,000. And I think what will help differentiate us from maybe some other markets or traditional carriers is our willing and desire to write those new and kind of just starting out businesses. So I think there's been a large shift. If you've seen some of the reporting out there around the number of businesses that are FEINs that have been applied for. During COVID has actually increased exponentially. So there's a lot of people that are deciding, maybe it's time I kind of go off and do my own thing as opposed to trying to work for a large organization. And we're here to help you kind of target them, get them in as they're starting out, and allowing you to kind of grow with them as their businesses succeed and continue to get bigger. So when we look at our BOP GL coverage, our minimum premiums are $300. We are an ISO-based product forms, but again, we've filed our kind of our own package or product of those. So these are coverage forms that you're very familiar with, that you've seen in the market and provide good, strong coverage. So it's not a cut rate or a surplus product where we're trying to exclude a bunch of things. We're giving them the standard coverages that they like. Our property limits are $1 million in TIV, with business personal property being up to $500,000. So a total TIV for property risks of $1.5 million. We do have business income coverage available. It'll be on an actual loss sustained basis for 12 months, and we have kind of your standard liability limits, your 1-2 products that are needed. When you look here, you'll see some target make sectors. These are, businesses that are, areas that we've identified where we think we can successfully help you write. So, some of the things to highlight here are your business support services, so your, individual business management consultants, your software technologists, to your retail stores, even including those that might be selling at a farmer's market, to your contracting trades, which, really is focused on the plumbers, the electricians, the drywall, the painters, those kind of smaller subs that are working for larger groups. With our professional liability product, we only have a max revenue of $6 million, so a little bit different, but we do have a variety of limit options. So if someone is looking for just kind of some small amount of coverage, they can get down to $25,000 in their limit, which would equate to about a $220 minimum premium, and we have a $400 minimum premium for a $1 million product. We do have retro date and prior acts coverage available. Obviously, this is very important for customers that may be looking to switch from a current carrier, given the kind of the basis of professional liability and wanting to make sure that something that maybe happened a year or two ago that gets filed as a claim in the current year is covered. So when we look at our future enhancements, we have a couple of things here listed as coming soon, and then kind of future product development. Being on the carrier side for 7 years and having these conversations with many different partners, everyone has a different definition of what coming soon is. I think coming soon to me prior to joining Coterie would have been in months, and future product development would have been in years. But here at Coterie, it's a little bit different. When we say coming soon on dashboard, we're talking, weeks to maybe a few months, and where future product development is definitely like month to month or like within a quarter or two. So some important enhancements that we're looking to roll out as quickly as possible are your blanket contractual liability endorsements. These are those endorsements that combine additional insured, waiver of subrogation, primary non-contributory coverages, all in one coverage form, and basically provide those extensions automatically based on the contract that your insured has in place. Our liquor liability endorsements onto the BOP, we'll be looking to add those, which will allow us to target restaurants, and we'll be looking to expand into real estate and apartments, again with those same TIV limits that we mentioned earlier, but we will be looking to do that across the country, except in Florida. Some future product developments, you've heard us talk about workers' compensation, some cyber liability or drone coverage, and then obviously being able to support multi-location policies. So right now for everyone, for those that maybe are writing in multiple different states, we are available in all states except for New Jersey, Massachusetts, and New York, and I'll include Washington, D.C. in that list. Really, those are more of an issue with those states not being very prompt and responding to filings than like a unwillingness or desire not to write in those areas. So we are filed. We are just waiting for some responses from those states, which seem to have been slowed even more due to COVID. So I'm guessing, talking to a group of agents based in Florida, your number one question is going to be around what are our coastal guidelines and where is our coastal capacity. So I'm going to start with kind of a zoomed out view to give you a picture of both the Gulf and kind of that eastern seaboard. What you see here is the zip codes highlighted in purple are areas that we are not currently writing any property risk in. So these are kind of been established following the NOAA or the NOAA storm surge and evacuation zone areas. And that's kind of how we'll continue to refine that. When I look at Florida, the one exclusion that was mentioned earlier is that we're not going to be able to provide residential, habitational, or commercial real estate risks in the state. And we will be continuing to refine kind of these zip codes as we get better third-party data to kind of truly understand that storm surge and evacuation zone criteria. But the advantage is, as you'll see here as I get ready to demo our kind of quoting portal, we'll be able to provide that kind of indication right up front with a few pieces of information to allow you to better understand where our capacity is. So right now I'm going to walk through a quote. This is a little bit about 2-minute video. I did speed it up, not because I wanted to make it seem like we can do this super fast, more because I didn't want you guys to have to suffer through watching me type very slowly. But that said, it still took me probably about 4 minutes to get from start to finish. And as you'll see, that'll include payment and policy document download. So I'm going to go ahead and start this clip, and I'll be talking through as we go. So you'll see here on the left-hand side, I'll just quickly highlight it. You have your new quote, your quote search. This will be any quotes that you've previously started. The policy tab, your My Account. This is where you might be able to add producers into the system, etc. And then agent resources will provide you some frequently asked questions, a state overview, some coverage highlights, things of that nature. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And what you'll see here is that I click a new quote, and here's our instant qualification checker. So we ask you to select your industry. It's a very natural language search, so you can kind of just search and you'll see a bunch of different results respond really based off the NAICS system. And you'll see with those 3 pieces of information, I was able to find out that I was approved. So I'm doing a nail salon in Ohio here just for demonstration purposes. You'll see you enter your payroll, your annual sales, employee count, whether they've had any claims. You select what coverage options you want. In this case, we did a BOP and a professional liability. It'll ask you a few questions to make sure whether or not you need the hired non-owned endorsement added. It'll ask you for a business address, which is kind of pulling from Smarty Streets to make sure that we get a good verified address. You'll go through and you'll select your limits. We make that very simple. You can just quickly click these buttons, and you've already selected your professional liability, your deductibles, etc. To finish off this submission, you just need to put in the contact information of the insured. So this is where you can put the business name or including like a DBA if needed. You can put the individual that's the main point of contact, their phone number, email address, mailing address, things of that nature. And there you go. You can add an additional insured if you wanted to right there, but if you click generate premium, you'll see you instantly get the price. It'll provide a nice overview of all the coverages. Any endorsements that might want to be selected are available at the bottom. If you want to add additional insureds, you can right from the screen. You can change a limit and you'll see it'll automatically update the price. You can edit the application, change any information on here without having to start over. When you're ready, you go ahead, review and pay. You input a credit card number, an expiration date, CVC. You say whether or not you want an automatic email sent to the policyholder. So if you want to deliver the docs, you can, or we can automatically email those out. And you're dumped right into the review page. So that policy is issued, it's ready to go. You'll see here it takes just a few seconds for these policies to kind of reload, and by hitting that refresh button, you'll be able to see your policy documents as well as your certificate of your COIs that you can provide to a customer. Those are available by line of business, so both the professional and the business owner policy, and that's kind of it. So you can see here we have a very simple application. Again, we're not asking a bunch of underwriting questions that will require a lot of back and forth with you and your customers, but we're really trying to make this a simple and streamlined process. And the good news is we'll be continuing to enhance this as we go along. Which is why we're extremely excited about a relationship like IMS and with FAIA, is that we're now able to get some great agencies onto our system to provide us that needed feedback to make this even better and for both you and other agents across the country. So a lot of, we've mentioned how it's like, all right, so you talk about increasing your digital presence, or what type of tools might we be bringing to agents to allow them to. And so one of the advantages, not to nerd out too much on the technology, because I know most people eyes will glaze over. Being the digital guy, I tend to do that too much, so I'll apologize ahead of time. But really, the way we've built our technology allows us to really insert it in a lot of different ways. And one of those ways that we make extremely easy is by providing a self-serve quote flow right on an agent's website. So by either providing a link out to a quote flow, or even embedding it kind of within your own site, you're able to provide an option to customers that may be visiting your site, or you could send customers to your site to kind of start the application process and get some of that information that you need. You can do that right away, and it's a very low no development cost on your end. There's no charge that we provide. You get full commission for every policy that's written through here. And so we're really looking to kind of enhance this capability to understand, how agents want to use it, some additional features that we can think about. So we're really trying to package this all up in a way that integrates right into your dashboard, so you can kind of have visibility on both you're entered by a producer or an account executive to those accounts that maybe were entered by a small business customer that kind of came to your website or you sent a link out to. So we're planning to get this launched in a more polished form in Q2. But I'm definitely willing and able to talk to anyone that might want to reach out. We have some limited capabilities that we might be able to put into play sooner than that. And I'd love to talk to you and just kind of make sure that you understand the limitations of kind of being that beta user. So feel free to reach out to me after this presentation if you have any questions or interested in that. But what I'm going to do just to kind of make it live and real to everyone is I'm going to show, one of our beta users that we've worked with is a company called Commercial Insurance Partner. They're based in Oklahoma. They do a lot of kind of marketing and triage support for different agencies, and they've kind of built this website themselves and really are leveraging that link that we mentioned to allow customers to kind of self-serve themselves on their platform. So you'll see here, this is their website. They have their own marketing, their own branding. They click that button right there, and you'll see here it'll show Coterie. It would show the agent's name that they're working with here in the upper right-hand corner, and it's a very similar application to what you would see, in the portal. But this is kind of, in a little bit more small business owner-friendly language. It gives a little bit more explanations about kind of the coverages, so that they can feel confident in kind of making some of these selections. But again, it's the same level of information required to get a quote. It's the same, what is your annual earnings? What are your salaries, including what you pay yourself? Where's your business located? And then kind of what type of limits that you want. And the good thing is when we kind of put this out is you'll be able to access these quotes within the dashboard. So if you need to go in and after talking to the client, maybe they selected an appropriate limit that you want, maybe they need a little bit more BPP coverage, or that they don't understand that maybe it might be better to get the $1 million option on general liability because the pricing difference is rather negligible. But, this is kind of showing, they're able to get both general liability and professional liability right here, pretty easily with very minimal underwriting questions or contact information. So what it'll be is just finishing up with their own contact information, and you'll see a summary screen that looks very similar to what you guys see within the dashboard. And, they would be able to pay for that policy right then and there.
Hey, Ray, while you're going through that, so if the agent did decide to add this as part of their website, how would the agent get notified that a client potentially was on their site and completed this process?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a good question. I think, right now I can tell you how it works and kind of where we're going. So the intent would be within that quote dashboard that I showed you in the first video, that is where the notifications would come through. Right now we don't have like an email blast or anything else like that goes out. It's something that we're looking into and considering. And that's why, we want to kind of put this idea out there and get that feedback, Dave, that, all right, so how would this work? What makes the most sense? Do you want to have an option to say like, hey, you can't, buy it without talking to me first? There's a lot of optionality that we can implement. And I think we're just looking to gather some of that feedback. But yeah, right now, we have reporting that would let you know like who visited the site the day before, where they, did they finish the quote, things of that nature. What's their contact information so that you could reach out to them and follow up with them. And one of the things having a great marketing person like Brittany on our team is we can even set up some retargeting campaigns for agents where they would, get emails sent out to customers. We can kind of do this in an automatic way that lets them know that, hey, you didn't finish your application. Click here to kind of continue and provide some of that, what you see in a lot of different other areas in terms of like, I get notified when I've left fly fishing supplies in a car somewhere and they want me to come spend a bunch of money. So, similar nature to that. So that's kind of where we're going with that, and definitely open to understanding and looking for some feedback. from agents on that.
Another, just sort of along those same lines, Ray, is certainly agents, not only around the country, but specifically in Florida, since that's where we are, they're used to having the ability for downloading through Ivans in their agency management system. Can you talk a little bit about that, Ray?
Yeah, no, so we have signed a contract with Ivans. We are actively working on kind of integrating and connecting those pipes so that we can provide those policy documents and some basic download information. It is not live currently, but we are working quickly to get that up and going. And, you know, one of the things we strive for here at Coterie is to make sure that we're being transparent and almost over communicating with our agents. So we'll be finding different ways and venues with which we can engage with you to kind of provide those types of updates. So 100% understand the need for that, and we are actively working on that to make sure that we can make that available.
Yeah, along those same lines, is there an ability to do some of this in real time?
Yes, in terms of the policy documents?
Yes.
Yeah, so those PDFs are generated in real time.
Okay.
And could be downloaded right then and there. You know, I don't know enough about Ivan's capabilities in terms of like the real-time download into your system, but within our own dashboard, it is real time for your policy docs and even our certificates to be generated for any account that you bind in there. So you're not having to wait for an overnight batch or anything else like that. They're generated in a matter of seconds to kind of create that policy package for you.
And have you worked with AMS or Applied in that regard? Some of those management systems, or?
We have not. I have had some initial discussions with, you know, the Vertifores, and kind of some of the larger AMSs, and I think they're still trying to figure out the digital space themselves. So, you know, that's an area that we're obviously interested in integrating into more completely, but it's not something that I would say is in the near term, more because of their own strategies than Coterie's.
Going back to the self-service portal that agents would have on their website that you just went through, would a policyholder have the ability to issue their own certificates from that portal?
So that portal, what you would see is when they purchase that policy, the certificate would be generated immediately in real time. So it would you know, provide them a certificate of insurance without agent involvement.
Okay. Yep. All right. Well, I'm going to let you keep going. Those were the few questions that were on point.
No, I'm happy to answer more as we keep going.
We'll challenge you in a few more minutes, Ray. So
hey, that's all right. I got thick skin, and I always got Pete as backup. So make sure you get those hard underwriting questions ready. All right. So I wanted to highlight both claims and service. You know, I think this can be often overlooked. You know, particularly in the InsurTech space. Everyone loves to talk about new business acquisition, but we wanted to ensure you that Coterie is getting ahead and really working to deliver top-notch claims and service capabilities, not just top-notch, you know, business acquisition strategies. So we brought in Troy Galley, very experienced claims, you know, managing property and casualty claims across a whole host of lines of business, as well as, you know, different carriers. And so he'll be kind of leading our claims effort with Kelly and Brian. And so we are leveraging top tier TPAs to kind of help with the administration of the claims. But Coterie is involved in that process from the start and can be that resource to help you provide the service that you need to your customers if they have the unfortunate event of needing to file a claim. So, you know, we'll be continuing to enhance these capabilities to include, you know, looking at some first notice of loss type ability to kind of handle that internally. And so this will be another area that you'll see a lot of development and resources put into here at Coterie. But rest assured, we have some very senior and experienced claims handlers and individuals that are overseeing this process to make sure that you get the best service for your customers. And then to highlight our service team, you know, really what we're trying to give you the option for is to reach us in whatever way you want to. So we do have a live chat. You know, within that, you'll see kind of a little help button in the corner, and that'll allow you to kind of send in messages directly to our team. That is monitored by, you know, different individuals, you know, members of our customer success team, even myself. I'll jump on there and make sure that agents are getting the answers that they need. So you can use that as a quick way to get in touch with us. Obviously, you can email us, call, text, and we're going to continue to enhance kind of that self-serve capability within Dashboard. So I kind of highlighted on the left-hand side there, the agent resources. That's an area that we'll continue to expand and bring more resources for you to use to better understand our product and things like that. But, with the instant eligibility and kind of, the standard ISO BOP product forms, I think our product will be pretty easy to understand, in terms of what we offer and don't.
Okay.
And finally, I just wanted to highlight the next steps. Now that you're all extremely excited to work with Coterie, I'm sure you're chomping at the bit to figure out how to get my access to the portal. So, in working with IMS, we've kind of set up the following process. So if you're an IMS member already and you're using them for some market access, send an email today to marketing@imsaccess.com, and they'll collect all necessary information, update it if they need anything from you. They'll send that over to us, and we'll be working to kind of get those up and running as fast as possible. And you'll receive an email from us directly saying, that you've been set up and you just need to come to our portal and reset your password, and you're in there ready to issue policies. So we're very excited to have this opportunity. IMS has been a great partner in kind of helping us get this launched and bring it to, and I'm very excited to have this opportunity this morning to talk to a great group of Florida agents. So that is the end of our kind of formal slides and presentation. So I'd be happy to open up the floodgates, Dave, and Greg and Pete can come on and provide backup where needed, but we'll take your questions now.
All right, let's start with this. In Florida, more than so than other states, because of the coastal restrictions in a lot of areas, agents are used to having some kind of a list of restrictions in counties that you won't write. Now, when you went through the demonstration, you can find that out through just typing in. I think there was four prompts. But is there a way for an agent to get on your site and look at potentially at where the restrictions are without going into the actual quote system?
Dave, great question. So we can and have a list of zip codes. And so we can look at a way to make sure that those are available, easy for an agent to enter. I'm going to ask Pete for backup here because he's definitely more involved in kind of establishing these zip codes to see if there's any easy way, but maybe we'll take that as a need to do shortly here and get a kind of easy tool for agents to just input a zip code or an address and know whether or not it's eligible. Okay.
And again, along those same lines, Ray, you have the coastal guidelines. You put the couple maps up there. Certainly, we're all used to that. These property limitations that you have, they're for the BOP products, correct? They're not for GL or the PL and potentially the work comp when they become available on your site, right?
Right. No, there's it's the threshold for the TIV won't necessarily impede our ability to offer standalone GL, PL, or work comp. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's not an underwriting criteria, but rather a capacity limit. Our BOP policy has the standard 80% coinsurance clause. So keep that in mind. But we are able to offer a very wide spectrum of industry classes to you and this property capacity currently by having this low limit for now. Insofar as our coastal restrictions, again, in the vein of us trying to do the hard work for you, we absolutely can give you what you need, and we can circle back on that. We are right now at zip code, but even with zip code, some of you well know those large zip codes overlay into areas that are far less prone to coastal storm surge. And as a result, today we're using zip code. Frankly, in the future, we're gonna use other data that's available to us to get more granular.
Okay.
So in general, it's sort of that first mile in, except when there's a body of land in front. It's Florida's, it's so geographically, it's extremely diverse the way that the coastline is set up. So even to say a mile in is not even good enough because of that geography. So any event, we'll provide you what you need, but we also don't, we are trying to take the position of doing that qualification before you're not making you decide, look what county by county.
Yeah. We call the Florida unique. So that may be another term you want to add as you're describing Florida marketplace. Yeah. So, and again, we talk about this right now. There are some TIV limitations for areas that you're underwriting, correct? But you're going to be continuing looking at those because a couple questions have come in, with this small capacity, sometimes it's even more difficult to bring on a new partner, a new a carrier. So, but from what I have been hearing throughout this presentation, this is just something that you're going to continue to refine, correct?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, Dave. I mean, I think, what we're trying to do here is, we could wait 2 years, overanalyze and over-architect and over-engineer this platform and deliver it like a national carrier does, over budget and delayed. But we really wanted to get something in your hands of your agents as fast as possible, understanding that, it's not going to be perfect and meet all their needs, but that we would have the ability to grow and enhance, and really you would be able to help us provide that input into making these enhancements to our platform. So it is absolutely, I think, fair to say is that what you see today is not what you're going to see tomorrow. I think as we get better data, as we get better experience, et cetera, and better partnerships with agents in Florida and with our kind of carrier and reinsurance providers, then we'll be able to continually analyze this and reassess as we move forward.
Yeah, Dave, we're really focused on the small end of small commercial right now to move that business quickly, provide good coverage for those small business owners.
Yeah, it makes sense. But again, as all agents are, you guys are former agents, so at some point you're going to press the limitations a little bit. Is there the ability to convert from a virtual to maybe having a conversation with an underwriting a person about potentially going a little bit beyond that limitation, or is that the system is the system?
So our capacity, you're seeing the capacity that we have available.
Okay.
It's not a situation where we can negotiate. It's not really negotiable.
Okay.
We absolutely are available to have sort of conversations, but we don't want to waste time. Being money, we don't want to waste a lot of people's time. But I will absolutely entertain discussions, questions about if they're getting a quick declination. But every time you submit a risk on some of our competitors and you wait 4 hours, 4 days later, frankly, usually it's a declination. So we're trying to give you a quick answer up front.
Yeah. No. And again, that's why we're just trying to have this. Is this product is for needs and wants for specific reasons right now, and again, you'll explore other options. So,
absolutely.
Where can agents locate? And we certainly, when you get to know us a little bit more, I'm sure you've heard some of these conversations from Jeff Grady. We preach reading the policies. We always encourage agents to read and understand what they're selling. So where can agents access policy forms on the site?
We can make sure those will be under the agency resources tab. Right now you could email our support team and they could provide you a copy of our bot forms. The advantage there is that it doesn't change based on class description. The coverages are pretty much the same for the bot particularly, and then we can certainly generate any professional liability in a similar sense. So right now the easiest way would be to just send it an email to our support team, and they'll respond very quickly with a copy of those sample policies. But we'll be sure to move those into the agent resources tab here very quickly.
Sounds good. Are there at the onset, are there going to be any production requirements to maintain or access an appointment with you guys?
No, there are no production requirements at this point. We just want your agents, your CSRs, your account execs to be in there quoting and active in the system, get to know us, get to know our products, give us feedback.
Okay. All right. So again, you wanted me to throw some at you, so I'm going to. You're not providing flood. So fundamentally, why are you concerned about storm surge maps to make your decisions about closed zip codes?
Great question. It's not just storm surge, but storm surge today is currently the source of a considerable amount of litigation, as you're well aware of in the state. Furthermore, and frankly, we don't want to be a part of that, and so we're trying to isolate ourselves to some extent. Number two, of course, the claim adjustment process, even in those events, it's not just a simple claim closure. And number three, it's kind of a surrogate for from a win perspective, it's a surrogate for that criteria, a win criteria. We are going to continue to evolve it. And again, we have some really good, there's some really interesting third-party data out there that's very granular at the building level, not just a zip code. And so we're going to refine these even further, so that frankly, I would expect those purple lines to get more narrow as time goes on here, very soon.
Okay. Okay. If a consumer buys from the agency, they're not on the SelfServe portal. They actually go through an agent and go through the process and buying the coverage through the portal. Would they have once they bound that coverage? Would the consumer then have the ability at some point to maybe issue their own certificates like they would on the SelfServe portal?
Yeah, great question. So yes, that is absolutely something that we'll be looking to launch here very soon. Would be a self-serve endorsement capability for both agents and for direct insureds. To be able to quickly update certs or add an additional insurer, change an address, things of those nature. So, right now we can certainly work with agents and kind of our support team to make sure those requests are taken care of. But the roadmap and kind of the vision of the team is to give you true self-serve quick responses for some of those more simpler endorsement requests.
Okay.
That typically take 10 days in the market right now.
And then again, along, the self-serve aspect of this is certainly getting a lot of attention because, as you guys know, being former agents, we're independent agents and we want to be involved with the consumer and talk about coverage. But the question is, can they purchase this policy without an agent being involved? And I think we've answered that, but I just want to reconfirm that.
Yes.
Yep.
So, I mean, when we look at our distribution, maybe just to put the elephant fully out there, when we look at our distribution strategy, we are, what we would consider omni-channel. And that's not because, really, we've spent a lot of our resources in the agent distribution place because we know for small commercial, that's needed. But we do have some partnerships out there, like with an Intuit, that is really serving a customer base that is, very different from the ones that are entering your office and just kind of meeting the customer where they are. This is not unlike what most other large carriers are doing. They might say that they're not, but they are, I know for a fact. And so, we are enabling agents the same capabilities and the same things that we would any other partner. And in fact, we're investing even heavier into this space. So yes, could an insured get a policy direct? If they were to stumble across our website, the answer is yes. We are not actively marketing. We are not spending a dime on social media or anything else trying to drive that volume. But we do have some partnerships with, large platforms and things that serve the small business owner. And we will continue to kind of explore both of these channels. Yep.
Okay.
And Dave, I just want all of your agent members to understand that we know certainly strategically that the large majority of small commercial business involves an agent for very good reason. The business owners want to make sure they're protecting their business and their livelihood correctly. So we value that professional counsel by the independent agents very much, and that is where the lion's share of our distribution investment is right now.
Gotcha. All right, great point. So, the questions have kind of ceased a little bit. I'm sure there was, several had the same question that I posed to you guys. So, but again, I want to really thank you to being on Friday Morning Live and talk about this partnership and the availability of a product and an enhanced platform that will really make this available to agents in a really efficient way. So I think we've learned about that today. Folks, you see the next steps on the page here. Certainly, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Jeff Grady. You can reach out to Agatha here at FAIA. Brittany is part of this group. She's behind the scenes a little bit, but certainly we'll make sure any questions get redirected to her if they need to be. They've been great to work with. They're well-intentioned to be a partner that will grow with your agency and certainly your small commercial risks. So we encourage you to take a good hard look at this partnership and this company and really develop a strategy that will be helpful to you as you grow your agency in this part of your book. So again, Greg and Ray and Pete, thank you so much for being on today for Friday Morning Live. We'll certainly share any additional questions with you guys directly so you can have those conversations with the agents that were online today. We have recorded this session, so we'll certainly make it available to those members that couldn't be on the call today and certainly use that to another tool to market this partnership with members of FAIA and certainly IMS. So without that, any last words, Greg, or Pete or Ray, that you want to share with the group?
Well, I just want to thank you all for inviting us to this Friday Morning Live show, and we really look forward to doing some business together, a lot of business together, and let's write some insurance.
Yeah, that's a.
Yeah, the only other thing I'll add, Dave, is if your agents want to schedule a meeting with me, there's a simple way. Just visit our website, and there's a little thing. Click a link there that allow you to kind of directly book an appointment on my calendar. Particularly if you want to talk about some of the digital tools that we're looking at. So I'm always willing to share, what I've seen out there and looking to get some additional feedback from your agents here today.
Ray, that's a great point. We're all in this virtual world, and I know we get a little Zoom fatigue every once in a while, but certainly having these discussions via that virtual world is probably helpful right now, and to learn a little bit more about how this relationship can develop is probably a good idea for those that want to push the envelope a little bit and grow this. So thanks for.
I wish I could come down to Florida because it's probably a lot better weather than up here in Long Island, but unfortunately that's a little bit more challenging to do these days than it was in the past. But hopefully soon enough we'll be able to get down and meet with some of your agents here in person.
Yeah, we look forward to that. So. Again, folks, thanks for being on Friday Morning Live. I'm Dave Newell, and have a great day, great weekend, and be safe out there. And so take care, and we'll talk soon.